Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video, we will be learning about legend, grid, axis, and further customization of graphs in Matplotlib by adding line styles and marker styles to the existing graphs, and also to create subplots to display multiple figures in the graph. Now to do the hands-on coding with me, you can go to the description of this video and go to the Colab notebook and create a copy for yourself and keep running the code cells as in how I show you to run it. So let's get into the video. So first we will learn about legend, grid and axis. So a legend is some used to display and describe the elements of the graph. So in the above graph which we created in the previous video, we can see these three lines are plotted using these values, but we are not sure in the graph which line stands for which of the plot. So legend is used to describe these elements better. So by default, there are many ways to call legends in Matplotlib. There are four ways through which you can display a legend on your graph, and more documentation on it can be found on the official Matplotlib library. So we will be learning two of the ways through which you can display a legend in your graph. So the legend also takes in location as parameter on the graph, where the given options available are best, upper right, upper left, lower right, right, and many more. These all are according to the axis of our graph. So I will show you a code for legend. So to simply write the legend, you all need to write here is pld.legend. And for the first type of display of legend, we pass in the labels for our plots using an array, and based on the plot function we will fill in the label names. So this first plot would be given the label 1 of the list, second plot would be given the second label, and so on. So let's give the first plot as 1, second plot as 2, and third plot as 3, and I'll run the code. So as you can see, we can directly see our legend here, which describes the line and their color, so it is easier to visualize now. We can also add a location parameter here based on the above uh, types of location. These also are available in the documentation. Do check it out after seeing this video to learn more about this. So let's try about center left. So center left should come around here. So I'll just change this to center left and run. As you can see, it will come here. You can directly add the default location equal to best, which will display the plot by default on the upper left. If the line is inter matching here, it will display it somewhere else based on the availability. Now, moving on to the second type of displaying the legend. So here we only pass in the legend and just give the location. But instead of passing the labels here, we will directly pass the labels of the plots directly in the plot function, so that it is easier for us to maintain the labels, and we don't need to change the array every time. So what we'll do is we'll pass a label parameter in the plot. So I will just pass in the labels on these plots. You can change these labels however you want, and I'll run this code. So this is the second way of representing labels in our legends. So the first way is to pass in an input array, and second way is to pass the labels directly in the plot function and just calling the plot function. So in this way we can display the legend in our graphs. So now moving on to grid and axis modification. So what is grid? Grid are the horizontal and vertical lines which are used to distinguish our graph and make it more readable. To show the grid on our graph, all we need to do is add plt.grid and just write true. By default, value of plt.grid is false in Matplotlib. So if we run the code with plt.grid, we can see that horizontal and vertical lines are displayed on our graph, and it makes it much more easier to visualize complex graphs and see where the points lie. It is still not very much readable, but we will make it more readable by the end of the video when we will apply marker style and line style to our charts. Now this is about grid. Now what are axes? So axis is it takes in four values, which are an array of x start, x final, y start, and y final. So what it means is it gives the value of x start, which takes in the minimum value from the given values. We can customize our axis to display the minimum x value and final x value to better display our graph. So to add the axis, the axis documentation can also be found on Matplotlib. It takes in these four arguments, as I said, and there are different ways of passing it as well. What it does is it sets the limits for the graph. So we will write it. So to display the axis, all we need is plt dot axis, and we pass in the array of x start, x final, y start, and y final. So by default, our x start is 1 and x final is 4. So let's try to change our x start to 0 and x final to say 7. And by default, our y start is also 1. I will add it as -2 and our y final as 10. And if I run this code now, as you can see, the graph will change and my axis limits will get changed based on the input array I am passing in the plt.axis. So this is a great way to make graph more readable and center our graph as based on the input values. Now, making it more readable, we will add line style and marker style to these graphs. Now, what are line and markers? So for each coordinate, there is a point which is called as a marker, and there is a style of line which can be applied as well. So by default in Matplotlib, there are available shapes are square, pentagon, point, circle, diamond, and there are many more. You can find more from these links which I have mentioned in the collab as well. So you can directly, yeah, you can go to this site and see different types of styles available for lines and markers as well. So these are the markers which we can use on our plots to make it more better and more easily visualizable. So to apply the styling for line and marker, what we can do is this is the default graph which is which is without the line style and marker style. So there are certain things which we can add, such as we can also add the color to the line we want. By default, this line is blue in color. So let's say I add as color purple. Then we can add the line style. So line style has many options as I showcased in this document. The available line styles are dash and dash, densely dash, loosely dotted, and many more. So let's keep our line as uh, dotted. Then we can apply the line width as well. So line width is the width of a line and it takes in an float value, not a string value. Then we can also give it as a marker. Let's give D, which is diamond, as a marker. There are many more markers which we can use. Then there is also something called as marker size, which will help us change the size of a marker. Let's keep it 5. And that is a marker edge color. So what marker edge color is, I will show you when I run the code, as it will be more visible then. So as you can see, I applied it using these arguments. A simple way to apply these stylings directly on the plot is just passing in the string with the line style and marker style. So in this way, we can directly pass in both line style and marker into the plot without using those keywords. So when I run this code, you can see this. So the first thing I changed here was I used the dotted line, which is represented using this line style. Line width is 3 and marker used is diamond and marker edge color is green. So as you can see in this marker, there is a slight green in the edge. I will increase the marker size to 10 to easily visualize that. As you will see here, there is this green markered edge around this marker, which is applied using this marker edge color property. Now we'll also apply styling here, and I'll add this line style, which is the uh, line dotted style, and I will apply the marker as pentagon, which is P. And I'll also add the marker size as equal to 10 here as well. And if I run this code, you can see I have applied these markers. I've applied square in the second plot and pentagon in the third plot. And the line style has also changed. In this way, we can apply line style, color style, marker edge to make our graph more visually appealing and create a better visualizable graph. Now moving to creating subplot. Now what are subplots? I will just show you. Subplots are having multiple graphs side by side so that you can display those graphs differently. Now in this graph, I'm plotting these three lines on the same graph. But if I wanted to plot these lines on different graphs, I'll have to create a subplot and then plot these lines inside that individual subplot. Now syntax to create a subplot is such that first we have to create a figure and we need to define the rows and columns in that figure. So rows and columns follow a grid format in the subplot. As you create two rows and one column, it means that there will be two rows in our subplot and there will be one column. If I create two columns, one row, the graph would be horizontally displayed in two rows and in one column. So we need to specify the rows and columns for our subplot, and we need to create an initial figure to display our plots on. So to create a figure, we simply add plt.figure, which will be creating a figure. There is a parameter called fig size, which will help us create the size of our plot. As we will be creating a horizontal plot here, I am giving more space to the x-axis than the y-axis here. And there is something called as face color, which is a style which you can apply onto any plots you want. It changes the background color, which is this inside color, into whatever color which is passed here. So to create a subplot, let's have rows as 1, and let's suppose we have 3 columns. Now, as I said, it follows a grid format. We will create 3 charts which we will add our plots to. So let's first create a chart 1. To create a subplot, all we need to do is we need to use the dot add subplot property on our created figure. So whatever name you give to the figure here, you need to add that name to create the subplot. So what we'll do is on the figure, I will add the add subplot function and I will specify its rows, columns, and I will specify its number. So our rows and columns are 3 here, and as it follows a grid format, the total number of available space would be rows into columns. In this case, it will be 3. So whenever we add the add subplot, we need to pass in the number where it will display. So I will just show you on notepad. So if we are having three columns and one row, it will be something like this. It will have one row and it will have 3 columns. It will be something like this. And in this, the number would be such that 1, 2, and 3. So if I pass a number as 1, then this chart one plot would be displayed in this position. And if I add suppose number 2 here, then this plot would be displayed here. If my rows and columns are such like 2 cross 3, then total available spaces are 6. Then it will carry through and we can add the following charts like this. So we can use this grid format to show the position of our graph. So let's create a third chart as well. So I've created three charts. So to better understand it, let's create this six format. So I've added a fourth chart which will be displayed here when I run the plt.plot function, as I've given 2 rows and 3 columns. So to create the plots, all we need to do is call the chart which we have created and add the plot function like we had added before. And I will also add some style to it. Now I will create my 4 plots. Let's change the styling. Yeah. So when I run this, 4 plots would be displayed. There is an error. Okay, so this is not a valid type of line style, as a dot is no line style. So yeah, as you can see, there are these plots which are available as we have created. Again, the same error. Yeah. So as you can see, the face color is cyan, which I created before. The line style and marker style is here, and it is displayed based on the grid format 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, like this. If I increase my fig size, you will see that my graph gets stretches and it gives me a better visualization. So based on the grid which we are going to use, we can change our fig. We can change our fig size. So I'll just change it to rows 1 and columns 3, as we are not using the fourth chart anymore. As you can see, our graphs are displayed here, and we can even add further styling to it. Let's say I add the color equal to red here and I run it. So yeah, as you can see, everything works the same. You can add the same things. You can add the axis. You can add the grid to this subplots as well. And you can add any styling you want. You can work, or you can trial and error what type of styles you want to add to this and further add changes to it. And if you have any doubts, do feel to mention down in the comment section below. I would be happy to help you there. So thank you for watching, guys. Do like and share the video and subscribe to my channel for further videos. And if you have any suggestions or any topic you would like me to cover, then please feel free to mention down in the comment section below or reach me out through the links mentioned in my channel description. Thank you for watching, guys.